to another episode of Kicking MS Ass. I'm AJ McGinty. This is Nicole Harris. She's the owner of Tiny Greens Farms, and today she's going to talk to you guys about microgreens. So, Nicole, you want to tell everybody what microgreens are?
Yeah, sure. So I started growing microgreens about 2.5, 3 years ago. I'm a whole food nutritionist, so I know how nutrient dense and healthy they are to add into your diet. And basically, microgreens are tiny versions of vegetables and herbs that we already eat, that we already are familiar with. Turnip, for example, broccoli, cilantro, basil, beet. They're all basically the micro version, which is, I don't know if you know baby greens, right? Baby spinach,
Okay, yeah.
baby kale.
I know baby carrots. Chinese food, does that count? Or
Leafy greens,
or
right?
corn,
Leafy greens, yeah. So baby spinach or baby kale, it's the step right below it. It's the micro stage,
Okay.
right? So they are about 4 to 40 times more nutrient dense. So they have more vitamins, more minerals, more phytonutrients in them, and we'll talk a little bit about what those are in a minute. And they're just great. They're really convenient to add to your diet and a boost in nutrition.
So I'm a pretty big guy. Microgreens would still give me everything I need?
Yes, exactly. And then some. So they're actually considered a functional food, which contains more than the basic requirements for human nutrition. So they are considered a superfood. And like I said, they're more concentrated because they're so tiny. They're more concentrated with the vitamins and minerals. So we have a little display right here. So literally, we have this huge head of broccoli. You would have to consume all of this, right? And that equals this little bite.
That's crazy.
Right? So there's the same amount of nutrients and vitamins and minerals in both of these.
So would that still be like one serving size?
This is, you could obviously consume more.
Yeah.
But this is basically the equivalent of a whole head of broccoli, and this is broccoli microgreens. So,
that's what broccoli microgreens look like?
Yeah, they're very tender, they're earthy,
It's like four-leaf clovers.
Yeah, it does. They have a nice little tender leaf to them. There's more hardy ones, bigger leaves, bigger stems, like pea shoots or sunflower shoots. Sunflower actually has some plant-based protein in it, some omegas, and like I said, they have much more vitamins and minerals in them. And then so the phytonutrients are basically antioxidants. It creates antioxidant activity in the human body to help support life and provide protection. So basically it helps to neutralize free radicals in our body. And free radicals damage our DNA. It causes disease and chronic conditions. And then they also help support a healthy inflammatory response. So in any chronic disease, you're going to have this unhealthy level of inflammation, this chronic inflammation. And it's the root stem of not just MS or it can be Lyme disease, it can be any autoimmune condition. Oxidative stress and inflammation are usually at the root of them. I've done a number of trainings on that. And so the phytonutrients and the antioxidant activity help to kind of create this balance back into a healthy inflammatory response and healthy oxidation, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. I know with MS, like you were saying, inflammation's big. When we have our episodes and things like that, inflammation of the brain for me was a problem. So anytime that I can stay away from certain things, like, they talk about like milk and different products like that, cause
inflammatory foods, wheat, dairy, sugar, white sugar, anything like that. So this would help support that. And a specific microgreen called buckwheat that actually has quercetin. There's different names for phytonutrients, and there's different, depending on the color of the food, there's different ones. So, but buckwheat has the phytonutrient quercetin and rutin, which is a metabolite of quercetin, and that actually helps support healthy inflammation in the body. And then broccoli would have sulforaphane, which there's a number of studies on the benefits of protection against cancers. So, like I said, they're super nutrient dense. It's a really easy way to add to your diet and also to just boost your nutrition.
So if I was to make these? Do I want to like cook them, eat them raw?
You definitely want to eat them raw to
Okay.
contain the vitamins. Like I said, the hardier ones, like pea shoots, you could lightly saute them, almost like a spinach or a kale. You could replace it.
Okay.
But normally you want to eat them raw. They do have water-soluble and fat-soluble vitamins. So the water-soluble vitamins are like vitamins B and C. Those are good for immune, cognitive function, things like that. And then the fat-soluble vitamins, that's a mouthful, are vitamins A, D, E, and K.
Okay.
And the fat-soluble vitamins you want to eat with the fat, so your body absorbs it better.
And
So
it'll stay in
you
your
would
body
pair it.
longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you want to pair basically your microgreens in general, because they have a wide range of these vitamins, with a healthy fat. So think if you put it in a salad, you have olive oil, avocado.
Okay.
You could pair it with eggs in the morning, grass-fed beef, things like that. And that'll help just make it more bioavailable.
I'll tell you, as somebody that can't cook, like
Yeah.
myself, eating things
So
raw
easy.
is way easier.
Yeah, and this is basically your side
I am
vegetable. Like you don't
not
have to worry.
sauteing
You
anything.
don't have to worry about cooking a side vegetable. Like you just literally add this to whatever you're eating. I mean, even if you have takeout one night, here's your vegetable, right? For the
I'll throw it
side.
on my pizza.
Yeah, exactly. So the ways that, like I said, you could add them to smoothies in the morning raw. You could blend them. You could add them to eggs in the morning. Breakfast toast, avocado toast. You could add them to salads for lunches. You could actually make them as a salad base too, because lettuce doesn't have that many,
It's a lot of
nutrients in
water,
it.
right?
Yeah, so I usually make a salad base with like sunflower, pea shoots, radish, which is a little spicy, and that's just my salad. And you could add it to burgers, to steaks, just on top of soups,
Okay.
So it's really like whatever you're eating, whatever type of diet you need to follow. This is just a really great addition to it.
So there's a lot of different microgreens.
There's so many different
Okay.
microgreens. Yeah, basically all the vegetables and herbs. So I'm growing right now. I don't know if they can see it on the
Yeah,
camera,
they
but
can see
a little
this
bit. But
part.
these are the brassicas up here. So there's broccoli, cabbage, kohlrabi. This is red amaranth, turnip. I have arugula growing.
Okay.
In the back, which they can't see, I have basil, cilantro, beet, and Swiss chard. The tray on the table right here, this is Swiss chard.
Okay.
I have pea shoots. I have radish, sunflower, and lentils and buckwheat. So that's just like, there's so many that growers grow, but this is just what I have growing for the week for my customers locally.
Okay. And now, if the people from the channel want to contact you or see your website, things like that.
Yeah, so you could go to, my website is tinygreensfarm.com.
Okay.
If you subscribe, you could get a free download of what microgreens are. You could get a little meal inspiration download for that. And you can contact me, hello@tinygreensfarm.com. If you are local, I do sell my greens at Adams, Farragher Farms, and Wappingers.
Okay.
Over Creek Farm, their farm stand.
Oh, okay.
Fishgill Farms, their farm store. And Chakra Bowls Cafe in Poughkeepsie in their little grab and go section. I have some individual packs there. And then I have a lot of restaurants and chefs and cafes that use them in their menus as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like something like this, when you package it, obviously it's like a bulk of something like that, right? It just
Yes,
like
yeah.
like
So
a
I would put
Tupperware.
it in a container. I usually, I don't have them handy right now, but I have them in a container with my label. The way that I harvest them is I just harvest them right above the tray right here.
Okay.
So you're not getting the root, you're not getting the seed.
So
it's not a
these are
sprout.
dirt,
No,
Okay.
no, you don't taste the dirt at all. So yeah, and each variety has a different flavor, right?
Okay.
So radish will be a little spicy. The brassicas are a little bit more like cabbage, earthy.
I think I had the radish.
The radish,
I
yeah,
think,
those are
your
great.
husband Corey brought that over, and I definitely threw it in some salad. I'm trying to think what else. I think I probably threw it on some burgers.
Yeah, they're great with protein.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
Yeah, and the radish actually helps support digestion too.
Oh, perfect.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Which,
so
I know a lot of
many
people with
benefits.
MS that we definitely have digestion problems.
Yes.
Like we talk about, nutrition's a huge thing, inflammation. So it just sounds like a very important thing to start either looking into for yourselves or visit Nicole's website and try to get the information, inform yourself on it, and hopefully buy some stuff from Nicole and
Thank you. And if you're not local, you could grow them. There's so many resources, but you could. It doesn't have to be this huge setup like mine. You could literally grow them on your windowsill. So,
Oh wow!
yeah, they're very simple. And the cycle is about 10 days for most of them. So it takes 10 days from planting to harvesting. So
that's awesome.
quick, convenient to grow, to eat. So
yeah, I know if you were to try to grow like a garden outside, it takes forever. So this is like perfect.
And it's great for kids if kids want to get into it too.
Oh yeah. I never even thought about that.
I know they could plant it, but I find when kids are involved, when my son plants it, he'll consume it. And the earlier you start, obviously as you know, feeding your children healthier foods, they just accept it a little bit more. I mean, it's not impossible as they get older, but a little bit easier.
Living in New York, if we wanted to grow these outside, we'd have to wait probably the summer.
So they're very. It has to be environmental. Temperature control.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're a little finicky.
Okay.
They like the warm weather. It can be done in the summertime, but they hate humidity.
Okay.
So we control the temperature in our grow room here, and we have a dehumidifier to make sure the humidity is at a decent level.
So like you said, windowsill.
Windowsill, inside, lots of sunshine. That's really all you need.
Trays to plant. So these are 10 by 20 flats. I have one with no holes on the bottom, one with holes, and I just fill it up with dirt. I use organic soil. Normally I plant outside the grow room, so I'm with a hose and a soaker handle, but I'll just use a handheld sprayer for now. But what we do is we soak the, we just saturate the soil first. And you don't want to oversaturate it. You don't want it pooling on the bottom. If you're growing at home, you could do this in a small Tupperware container. You could poke some holes in it, get another one for the bottom, because eventually you bottom water. You don't want to top water the plants. So I saturate that. I have my seed right here. This is turnip, similar to broccoli. And this is probably about 2.5 tablespoons. And you just take a little bit and you just kind of sprinkle it on the tray even. You want it as evenly as possible on the tray. You don't want them kind of grouped together because that'll help create mold. So you just want to spread them out as best you can. Some people like to use old spice bottles, so you could just kind of sprinkle them easily. Sometimes I use that for super tiny seed, just to make sure they're evenly spread out on the tray. So when you're done doing that, you spray it again one more time, just to get them nice and soaked for germination. And then I will grab another tray, give me 1 second, and I cover it. So we go through germination. So this will stay like this for about 3 days, 3 or 4 days. The 4th day I take this and I flip it over for 1 day. It's called blackout. And then the next day I just take it out and put it in the light, and then I start to bottom water underneath. And then they actually start to look, I just planted turnip. This is what the turnip looks like when you just get it out from under the light. And that's it, and it'll be ready in 10 days.
Yeah, anything else you want to tell everybody?
I think that's it, yeah.
Thank you, Nicole. I
thank
appreciate it. And definitely make sure to check out our website.